What is up, guys? This is GShell16 here with a video for all of you that are Pokemon fans. I know a lot of you guys will say, I believe my Lord and Savior Arceus. Well, I'm here today to tell you that Arceus may be the one that created all the Pokemon, but there's one that actually he did not create, and there was that one Pokemon that created him. Now, I don't have any slideshows or pictures or anything like that to show you guys, since I'm not even really a YouTuber that edits or does YouTube videos in the first place. But I've seen so many YouTube videos about going over how Arceus is the god of all Pokemon, and how he made the Pokemon, and all this stuff, and I am a very, very knowledgeable person about Pokemon, the lore of Pokemon, the games, the manga, the anime, anything Pokemon that you want to question me about. I usually always know the answer to within a second of you asking it. Like, people will say, who was first Pokemon created? Well, first Pokemon in the Pokédex entry is Bulbasaur. First Pokemon said to ever be alive is Mew. And first Pokemon ever drawn was Rhydon. So when you say, who's the first Pokemon? All three are technically correct, but in their own respective categories, though. So, my knowledge about Pokemon, I thought about this very extensively, and I've gone over everything research-wise I possibly could. I've looked into all the facts, I've looked into everything that was possible on the internet, the mangas, and the games, even the anime. You know, I've watched over episodes, I've researched stuff, read stuff, I've gone back to games with the dash entries, everything like that. And I've come to realize that everyone that says Arceus is the god of all Pokemon, you are correct, but there is a Pokemon that actually created God. And I don't see this Pokemon as even a Pokemon per se, but he or she, since there's no gender, is labeled as a Pokemon. But since in every dash entry, and since in the lore of Arceus, it said he was put on the planet as an egg, that he hatched from an egg. And everyone always says what came first, the chicken or the egg. As studies have shown us, the chicken had to come first to create the egg. Now, I'm not going too much into religion here, but think about the religion of Christianity or Catholic. They said that God created Adam and Eve, and God created the animals, the earth, he created the atmosphere they live in, everything like that. Now, all-knowing being, how would he create these things unless he knew what they actually were supposed to look like? He didn't just mold together some sort of claymation and just say, oh, let's make arms, let's make legs, let's make this one have a penis and one have a, vagina. He did not say any of that. He knew and had in his mind what he wanted to make, animal-wise, human-wise, everything like that. Now, that's all just going based off Catholic and Christianity. So let's take that and let's kind of put it into the Pokemon perspective. Now, there is said that there's one Pokemon that can live in space other than Palkia, Giratina, Dialga, any other Pokemon that can live in space now or travel through space. They weren't like that until they were actually created. One Pokemon had to create those Pokemon for them to be able to do that. But there was one Pokemon that was said to live in space for years and years, no one knows how long. His dash entry labels him as new species, and that Pokemon is Mew. Now, you guys are probably saying, oh, well, Arceus created Mew. Actually, that's not true. And I have some key facts to point out here. Every Pokemon in the game, in the manga, in the anime, wherever you want to take it from, every Pokemon, even Arceus himself, their DNA links back to Mew. Now, there's only two Pokemon in the game that actually can learn Transform naturally. That is both Ditto and Mew. And now going into the manga and the anime, Ditto cannot use Transform unless in battle and sees the Pokemon in front of him. Unless Ditto sees that Pokemon and is commanded to use Transform, he cannot transform into that object, because apparently Ditto can transform into objects too in the anime. He cannot transform into that object or that Pokemon until instructed to. Now, Mew, though, on the other hand, can transform into any Pokemon it wants to at will. So, why would a Pokemon that was created by some other Pokemon be able to transform into any Pokemon it wants to when that other Pokemon itself can't even transform into any other Pokemon it wants to? That's because Mew knew what the Pokemon were supposed to look like before they were made. Think about this. God created humans and the animals because he has some sort of knowledge of what they were supposed to look like or what he wanted them to look like. You wouldn't just put something on, let me put it this way, you wouldn't put just ingredients of a food on a plate and say, okay, I know what I'm going to make. You slowly start to work with it and see what you're creating. I believe Mew had that sort of sense in his head, just like God did. He slowly began to play with these ideas in his head of what he was going to create. And now, like I said, Mew can live in space. He doesn't have to live on Earth. Whatever the Pokemon planet is going to be called, we'll just call it Earth because humans live on there too. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, Earth is the world that Pokemon exists on that playing field. I believe that Mew lived in space and flew around until he found what we call as Earth. A blank canvas planet that he created the water, the land, the atmosphere, the air that is surrounding Earth, the atmosphere, whatever. He did that. And then I believe that he, with his remaining power, created an egg that happened to hold Arceus. And then when Arceus hatched, he was at one of the highest points on the Earth. From there, he created Mount Coronet, or Spirit Pillar, Mount Coronet, everything, and from Sinnoh on, the entire Pokemon world became a blank canvas that turned into an actual filled canvas. What the Pokemon world was supposed to look like, but not through Arceus' eyes, through Mew's own vision. Because how would Arceus know to create these Pokemon, these beings of life, without a sense and a knowledge of what he was on the world for? In any Pokedex entry you look at, Arceus does never say that he knows, or if you go into lore and read about him, or the movies, whatever, it never says that Arceus knows how he got on Earth, and he just knows his purpose was to create life in Pokemon. And as God instructed with Adam and Eve, their purpose was to live on the Earth, not eat the sacred fruit, which they did anyway, but their purpose, though, as God instructed, was to live on Earth and possibly create new life. So how would Arceus know how to do this without being instructed or something being implanted in his head by something else? I believe Mew is that person that instructed Arceus or gave him the knowledge so he knew what he had to do. Now, Arceus can turn into any type, yes, but he has to hold an item to do that. Mew can learn any move in the game regardless of what item he is holding. He does not have to hold an item to learn a move. Now, can he Mega Evolve? No. Does he need to? No. Just because you have the highest stats does not make you the god of all Pokemon, because we said Arceus is the god of all Pokemon. But look at Mewtwo X and Y. Mewtwo Y has a special attack stat that has raised his stats. His total stats are now higher than Arceus. That means that, hey, Mewtwo must be the god of all Pokemon, right? No. Just because your Pokemon might have a higher stat level does not make them the god of all Pokemon. The god of all Pokemon is not the strongest Pokemon. It's the Pokemon that can do the most. Mew can transform into any Pokemon at will, as seen in the manga and in the anime. There's a movie as well, I think it was like the one where Ash figures out he has aura like Sir Aaron does, and he's led to this place by Lucario. And he sees a flashback of Sir Aaron calling Mew. Ho flies down, it shows that it's actually Mew. He just did that free will. Didn't even need anyone to tell him how to do that. He just did it. Because he's knowledgeable. He's smart enough to do that because he knows that's a Pokemon, that's something he thought thought of it in his mind. He knew what the Pokemon was and what it was supposed to be. There's also the whole fact of, like I said, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And the chicken comes first to create the egg. If Arceus was so put on Earth as an egg, someone had to create that egg, create the mindset he had to create the world, or to cover the canvas, that was a blank canvas, and create life of Pokemon. Now, there's no saying that he created humans, so I'm not going to say he created the humans, because no one knows much about that. When we go into the lore of Pokemon, we go into the lore of Pokemon, not the lore of humans. Except now, people are saying that I remember a game, there was MatPat and Jay Witz made a video a long time ago, and they said that there was a theory of humans and Pokemon at one point being the same, and even marrying each other, having families together, all that sort of thing. But we're not going into that because I don't know a lot about that. I saw the video that they made, which, by the way, Jay Witz, MatPat, great video. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Made my brain actually think about it a lot. But I don't have all the facts and everything that you guys have. So I'm not going to go into the human and Pokemon relations that have changed throughout the history of time. That's not what I'm talking about today. I'm talking to all of you guys that Arceus did create all the Pokemon, but Mew created Arceus. So it is fine and very okay to say that Arceus is the god of all Pokemon, but I think a better term for Arceus would be that Arceus is the Jesus of all Pokemon. Because like I say, if we go back into the whole Christian and Catholic belief, God is the all-knowing being who created all, who gave his only son Jesus up to pay for our sins. Everyone knows that story, whether you were brought up in Christianity, Catholic, or whether you were brought up in any sort of religion at all. Even if you were brought up as an atheist. I had 2 or 3 atheists that went to my school, and I went to a private Catholic school. And even they knew the whole story about God giving up Jesus to pay for our sins. So that's a story that most people have heard of at some point in their life, no matter what religion they are. So that's going to be how I'm kind of giving this a standpoint, is Mew created Arceus to create everything else. Now, I know God created everything and then took the 7th day to rest. That's how, supposedly, we have 7 days of the week. But, we could also say that's how the Mayans did it. The Mayan calendar. The world was supposed to end 2012 because that's when the Mayan calendar ended. Well, we're still here. It's 2016. 4 years later, we're still here. So, Mayans were not necessarily correct unless they made a miscalculation or moved some number where it wasn't supposed to be. Either way, either way speaking, I believe that a better term for Arceus is the Jesus of all Pokemon. Jesus may have not created everything else, unlike God that did, but Mew created God. Mew pretty much created the god of all Pokemon. So, like I said, I wouldn't call Mew maybe the god of all Pokemon. I call him, though, I don't know what to call him, but I call him the beginning and the end. Because there's a beginning to everything and there's an end to everything. Mew is the beginning of Pokemon. He's the beginning of that species. He began that species that we now call Pokemon. Like I said, I don't believe Mew is actually a Pokemon at all. I believe that Pokemon was never a species. It's just that we called them Pokemon. Whoever created these creatures decided they should be called pocket monsters, and then thus forth Pokemon. Because as another game there's a MatPat made, is that Pokemon, each game is in a different dimension, and they live in pocket realms or pocket universes, thus the name Pocket Monster. But like I said, despite all that, I'm not going to talk about what they talked about since they already made videos about it. Like I said, that was also a very good video, MatPat. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm just saying that if these so-called universes are all just different universes, it doesn't stop the fact that there had to be a beginning and an end to the Pokemon world as we know it. Now, everyone thinks the beginning was Arceus creating the Pokemon world and all the Pokemon in it. In order to have that mind to appear on an Earth, live on an Earth where both Pokemon and humans breathe air, there had to be a blank canvas Earth that was molded to adapt to the means to living for both Pokemon and humans. Now, God did that to a Earth. He made Earth to have atmosphere, air, water, Earth. Some sort of being or creature had to make this Earth. That way, when he placed a Pokemon or a species or an egg on that Earth, it would arise and be able to live on it. I believe Mew made a blank canvas world, put in the mind of Arceus what to create, both land-wise, world-wise, and Pokemon-wise, and he used his remaining power to fill that egg with all that knowledge. Put Arceus on the Earth. Once the egg hatched, Arceus saw what he had to do, knew what he had to do, instructed by Mew, implanting that in his mind, and began his work. So, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of facts in this. I don't have any screenshots to post up, anything like that, because I'm not used to editing. Like I said, I'm not really a YouTuber. I just became very sick and tired of people saying that Arceus created Mew, and not the other way around, where I know Mew created Arceus, because it's more not so much just factual based, it's logic sense, though. It's common sense that a Pokemon in an egg put on a random Earth for no reason whatsoever, no reason, and he just happens to say, I'm going to create these beings, I'm going to create the rest of this world, I'm going to do all this just because I can. I mean, Mew didn't have a purpose to do that either, but that's because I don't believe Mew was actually a Pokemon. I don't believe Mew was really a Pokemon at all. I believe Mew does exist, but his meaning in the Pokemon universe is bigger than what we think it is. Mew kind of got shoved off to the side as one of those Pokemon that was like, okay, yeah, he's here first, so it's a big deal, but he's not really that strong or that powerful. He's just a legendary because, you know, Mewtwo was cloned from Mew and all this other stuff. I believe Mew did have a higher purpose in the Pokemon universe, though, than just as we see him. I'm sure a lot of people have thought about this too. I'm sure there are probably people out there that agree with me that they think, yeah, Mew created Arceus. Like I said, I'm okay calling Arceus the god of all Pokemon, because he did create all the other Pokemon except for Mew. He created every single Pokemon. He created Giratina, created this, owner of the Distortion World. He created Palkia, who controls space. He created Dialga, who controls time. Darkrai, who controls nightmares. Cresselia, who controls good dreams. Celebi, who can travel through time. Ho-Oh and Lugia, the two, main birds of Johto. He maybe even gave new life to Entei, Suicune, and Raikou. There's different lores about that, tons of different lores about what happened there, but I'm not going to go into that because that's a lore for a completely different story. There's two stories that people believe are canon. I think there might even be a third one that people somewhat believe. I don't know. I know there's at least two though, and I'm not going to get into that because that would be for a different video about that lore. And I'd have to actually research that to make sure I have every myth or every rumor about it that I know. I have to make sure I cover all of them, not just two that I know of off the top of my head, because that wouldn't be fair to other ones that are out there that just are not as popular. If I were to do a creepypasta video and I went over the top 10, I have to make sure I know all of them. That way I don't miss out on one, because I believe in getting all my facts straight, believe in hearing every side of the story, and believe in covering every single basis of it before I'd ever make a video or pass judgment on anything in this world. And that's why I did extensive research, and I really, really did do a deep thought on this, because I looked at it from every single angle, every single point of view, and I'm not really biased. I think Arceus is a great Pokemon, honestly. I think he's really cool. The fact he can turn into any type he wants to, that is really cool. And for a long time, when I did Wi-Fi battling, I fought a lot of Arceus, and hey, if he could cope up to my Electivire with Cross Chop? Hey, well, that's his fault, not my fault. My Electivire kicked his ass. But, you know, I think Arceus and Mew are both great Pokemon, and I don't prefer one generation over the other. Even though I grew up playing Red and Blue version, Yellow version, I don't like one per se generation over the other. I do have a top favorite and least favorite, but that doesn't mean that I don't like all of them, though. I love every Pokemon generation that there is, every game there is, every Pokemon there is, except Bidoof. I really do not like Bidoof. That was just a waste of a Pokemon. Bibarel, whatever. Just why even give a horrible Pokemon an evolution that doesn't make sense? It's like a Dunsparce. Just why? Or that garbage Pokemon in 5th gen. Garbage, and then put some vowels in there. What were they thinking? Honestly. It's like the new Pokemon Sun and Moon. Solgaleo and Lunala. Steel Psychic? And then Ghost Psychic. You're taking a Pokemon that represents the sun, and you're making him Steel Psychic, something weak to the fire, which is where our sun is, a giant star filled with fire. And then Ghost Psychic, creating a Pokemon that's weak to darkness, when usually the nighttime and the moon is the only light we have in the darkness with stars. I mean, I can get where you're going with it, because I read up on why they're like that, but why make it like that? That does not make any logical sense. Pokemon, we think that they're going to do one thing, and they told out, they do a whole complete 180, 360, and again another 180, and another 360, whatever, and they just completely fuck with us. Everyone thought that Solgaleo was going to be fire, at least fire. I thought Fire Fairy. Other people thought fire something. I knew that Lunala was going to be psychic, but I was thinking more like Psychic Dark or something like that. But he is Psychic Ghost. Darkness is what the night is. People see the night as dark. People see the daylight, the sun, as bright. And what is the sun made of? It's composed of fire, well, more like gases, plasma, but it's very hot, and it's fire. Yet these two Pokemon have no correlation with any part of that sun and moon cover. They say they are protectors, or they are parts of it, but they're not the actual sun and moon. Sun and moon, I guess, they're not what a sun would create and a moon would create as a mirror image of themselves. I still think that it's stupid that Nintendo made Solgaleo Psychic Steel. Lunala I'm okay with, because I mean that's not so bad. But I honestly think that Solgaleo should have been Steel Fire, or even Fairy Fire. I hate Fairy types, I'm still okay with Fairy Fire. It just doesn't make sense. There's never been a Steel Fire type that I can think of off the top of my head. But there's already been Steel Psychic type, Bronzong, we already got that. You know, Bronzong's a boss Pokemon, he's in tons of Wi-Fi battles. Like I said, off topic here again, like I said. Main point of this video, Mew created Arceus. Arceus created the Pokemon. Arceus filled the Pokemon planet canvas and created all Pokemon. I've laid out my opinion. This is all opinion based, by the way. Some of it is factual based on the desk entries I read, and then some of it is just opinion based on what I think happened. There's no actual proof of what happened. The only proof we have is that every Pokemon DNA links back to Mew, and Arceus was put on the earth by something or someone as an egg, and he hatched and made the Pokemon, made the canvas of the Pokemon world, and made the Pokemon. Before that, there's no definitive proof of one doing the other, but I don't think that Arceus made Mew. I think it's reversed, that Mew made Arceus to make all the rest of the Pokemon and everything else. Because like I said, if Arceus has never been said to be able to live in space, but it's been actually proved that by, like I said, the manga, even I think the anime at one point, not just the beginning Pokemon like, I want to be the very best, and you see Mew in space. It's the manga, because I've read the manga, and Mew was, I forget what chapter, but I think it was one of the beginning chapters, that Mew actually did come down from space. They say Rayquaza lives in the ozone layers. That's not technically space, though. That's part of the atmosphere of the Earth. Deoxys? Okay, yeah, lives in space. Was from a meteorite, though. Doesn't necessarily mean he lived in space. He was embedded in a meteorite. There's a difference between living in space and traveling dormant inside something from space. Rocks are in space. It's not anything new. There's rocks all around Saturn's belt. They're all just rocks. Anyone can fly out at any point in time. It's gravity. So, main point of the video is that Mew created Arceus, gave Arceus the knowledge to fill the Pokemon world canvas how it should be, and was given the knowledge to create all the Pokemon that we now have, and probably the ones we have not seen yet, obviously. So guys, if you liked that video, you can leave a comment down below. If you didn't like the video, go ahead and dislike it. I don't really care. Like I said, this is opinion based. A lot of this is not factual, except for the parts about what I said about each Pokemon, where they started, where they ended up, and what I think happened. What I think happened is opinion based. So if you guys want to comment, go ahead and comment. If you liked the video, like it. If you want to, I'm probably going to start making more videos, more reaction videos, probably not so much edited videos that like bigger YouTubers make, maybe just reaction videos and discussion topic videos. If I make more videos, I don't know if people want me to or not. Some people have said that they like videos I make. Well, I made freaking 3 though, or 4. This is like my 4th or 5th one. So I might make more videos, I might not, I really don't know. But that's about it. If you, like I said, if you guys want, go ahead and leave a comment, leave a like if you want to, subscribe if you want to. This is GShaw16, over and out.